Yeah, dear ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you very much, Barry, for your kind introduction. And I thank also the Hong Kong TDC for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak to you. I assume you invited me, in fact, as my role as Vice Chairman of BASF, who's responsible for Asia-Pacific businesses and headquartered in Hong Kong. But I should say you also get me in my role as a permanent resident in Hong Kong. I mentioned that because I want to underline that I do not only care about making sure that our company has the best regional headquarters located for BASF in Asia. I also care very much about Hong Kong personally because I'm emotionally attached with this city. And I think especially we in Europe can learn quite a lot from this city. So I have the highest interest that Hong Kong keeps its leading edge in the 21st century. But before that, I would like to give a brief overview of who is BASF and what we do. And in fact, I would like to start with to ask you, who of you knows BASF and what is associated with us? Any ideas?
It's a very big chemical company. That's what I know from Germany.
Oh, I leave it with this. You make me so happy because I thought actually you are going to say it's about that one. That is maybe the most known product we were known for, BASF, in the tapes, and I would even recommend you most probably should not talk so much about it because if you know about this product, it might reveal about your age, which is not so favorable. But what that shows also is how much our company changes because we sold this business already in 1996. And so far we have in the last 10 years acquired businesses of 16 billion euro and sold businesses for 10 billion euro. And that shows you how much BASF embraces change and continuously is developing in order to stay successful. But more seriously, and today we are really the world-leading chemical company with sales of more than 70 billion euro worldwide. We are the number 1 to 3 in 75% of the businesses we are operating in. You can assure that we are pretty much a B2B company, so you could not really buy something from us unless you are maybe a farmer or a craftsman. But many of the products you use, BASF is inside. So our customers are basically from all industries. The biggest one is energy sector and the so-called chemical industry. But you see also consumer goods, transportation, automotive industry are key markets for us here in Asia Pacific. And you can see other industries as you go down this list. We are highly innovative and have moved much closer to our end consumers and have become more resilient to economic silence in the past. So I guess you can call us somehow the industry of the industry because we are supplying all manufacturing industries. Asia Pacific accounts for roughly 21% of the global business without our oil and gas operations. And we had sales about 12.5 billion in 2012 here in Asia Pacific, and we employ in the region about 16,000 people. We have a very extensive production footprint across Asia Pacific, as you can see on the picture, to ensure that we are really close to our customers. And we have also a very ambitious strategy. Until 2020, we intend to double our sales in the region to 25 billion euros. And one key element in doing this is innovation. We have more than 800 people in research and development in Asia Pacific. And more of 450 of those are working in BASF's first innovation campus, Asia Pacific in Shanghai, which we started about 2 years ago. These researchers are part of a global R&D platform, and their job is to develop innovations from Asia, for Asia, but also increasingly for the world. By 2020, we expect that we have more than 3,500 R&D staff in Asia Pacific. In order to increase our local production, we intend, together with partners, to invest about 10 billion euros in Asia Pacific until 2020, and thus improving our competitiveness and keeping the technological edge. We will continue to create jobs, about 9,000 new positions until 2020, and this is just one indication of the contributions that we make also to the societies we are operating in. By aspiring to these economic, environmental, and social targets, we want to live up to our corporate purpose, and indeed it is that we create chemistry for a sustainable future. We are in business because we want to contribute to sustainable development of all countries we are operating in. But why is Asia so important for us? Well, for the chemical industry, the answer is pretty simple, because it's the global growth engine of our industry. In 2020, half of the global chemical market will be in Asia. And if you even go a little bit further in detail, and more importantly, 2/3 of this Asian market is simply China. So 2/3. And this makes one of the reasons why we have located our Asia-Pacific headquarters in Hong Kong. And it's very clear, we want to be close to our biggest and most important market, China. In Hong Kong, more exactly in the Jardine House, where we are located, we bundle the lead of about 3/4 of our regional business and functional units, and I have my office there in the responsibility for Asia-Pacific business. But we have also started to move global functions into Hong Kong, because one of our operating divisions just moved roughly a year ago to Hong Kong. Our dispersion and pigment business is headquartered in Hong Kong and leads its global, almost 4 billion euro business out of this location from here. All in all, BASF employs about 750 staff in the Hong Kong headquarters. But it is not only the proximity to China that makes Hong Kong attractive. It is also its special status. For me, the one country, two systems aspect is very important when dealing with customers and our officials across Asia. If I'm asked, and this has happened several times in China, why don't you have your headquarters in China? And I can answer very simply. I say, why do you say this? I'm in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is China. But if I'm asked in other countries the same question, I might tell them, why do you ask this? I'm in Hong Kong and not in China. So, of course, there are many more reasons why Hong Kong is such an exceptional location for our Asian headquarters. Hong Kong is special, and everyone who comes here is immediately captured by the energy and the power of the city, and I think that's why you are here. A fundamental building block for the strength of Hong Kong is, of course, the rule of law. This is the basis of Hong Kong's free spirit, its entrepreneurship, and its ability to shape the future. Hong Kong is extremely welcoming to MNCs and to professionals from all over the world. And I have never had any problem convincing any of our international staff to move to Hong Kong. They all love it to come here. The actual problem is they don't want to go home anymore. So what I consider a very special value of Hong Kong is this very unique blend of Western and Eastern culture. I hardly know any other place in the world that can offer this. So Hong Kong is not just physically the gateway to the Asian markets, but also culturally. And many people call it Asia Light. I think this is completely wrong. I think it's Asia Jolt, because I think the cultural diversity and blend that Hong Kong offers is actually a booster. And it allows to have a diverse view on Asia from Hong Kong, a big advantage for an MNC regional headquarters. Of course, all these aspects are not guaranteed. Hong Kong needs to work hard to make sure that this valuable basis remains absolutely solid, and there are some challenges. Of course, I want to provoke with this question, but I do this because the best time to think about change is when things are going well. And I think there are some indicators that things might become a bit more difficult in the future. Look at the environment and the social situation. Even so, the air is not as bad as in some of the other Asian cities. It is clear that something has to be done about improving it. With an ever-increasing mobility of talents and professionals, I'm absolutely sure that cities in the 21st century are competing through living conditions. And environmental quality is a key differentiating factor. The other factor that strengthens the city is social cohesion. To ensure social stability, the social gap plays a very important role. And with its very high Gini coefficient, which measures the income inequality, Hong Kong is clearly facing some challenges in that area. Almost 20% of the Hong Kong population lives below poverty line in one of the richest cities in the world. Another aspect is global competitiveness. Being the number 7 in competitiveness, there is no doubt Hong Kong's position is excellent. But again, this is the time to think and to look ahead. And there are some critical signals in that survey in future relevant areas, which is innovation and higher education. In both fields, Hong Kong is only average compared to other innovation-driven economies and cities. But being average is not enough. And it has never been Hong Kong's aspiration. Especially in those fields that are the foundation for a future success, Hong Kong needs to strive to become best in class. And this graph shows you another reason why that is the case. Hong Kong's GDP is depending very much on services, with industry accounting only for a very small portion. Of course, this reflects Hong Kong's hub function as well as its role as a gateway to China. But for both aspects, the importance of innovation plays a very important role. And with the outcome of the third plenum, Hong Kong needs to seriously look into the question whether the importance of the gateway function will still be the same in the next decade as it has been in the past decades. If China really opens up in regard to its financial markets and in regard to direct foreign engagement, this gateway function will become less important. Also, in order to remain an important hub for Asia for business in the 21st century, Hong Kong will need to differentiate itself beyond the service role. As Asia becomes increasingly important source for innovation, a business hub will have to cater for that. Research commissioned by us shows that 2020, Asia will be the region where the global leading companies will spend 240 billion euro in R&D, more than in any other region, more than in Europe and more than in North America. And Hong Kong needs to be one of the preferred destinations for that money. The good part is, if there is any city in Asia that can face up to these challenges, then it's Hong Kong. This great city has the people, the talent, and the experience and the resource to shape its future. When I talk to people in Hong Kong, I'm often surprised by how much uncertainty there is about the future. Of course, Hong Kong's situation is very special and particularly difficult. But with the intellectual capital of the city, I think Hong Kong should be able to define its place in the world of tomorrow. And I strongly believe that business leaders have a responsibility to contribute to this vision, as well as help building trust and the confidence in the future of Hong Kong. And such a vision is crucial for the long-term attractiveness as a business hub. And it needs to go beyond the core business aspects. It has to be built on the strengths of Hong Kong by adding the necessary changes to ensure the success also of the city in the future. From an MNC perspective, I see requirements that I would group among the 3 dimensions: economy, environment, and society, and I would call this Hong Kong 21. In the economic dimension, it is all about strengthening innovation through increased and targeted efforts in higher education, in R&D, and in the startup scene. This will help to diversify the economy. This innovation can very well be directed at solutions for environmental challenges, with ambitious environmental goals and a very rapid improvement of the air quality. Hong Kong must ensure its long-term attractiveness for global mobile talents. This also includes the so-called creative class. A creative culture and scene is a highly important attractor for all other professionals. But it is also a stimulator for innovation and new ideas through mutual inspiration between the creative and the professional scene. All of this needs to be built on social cohesion. All parts of society need to be involved in building this Hong Kong of the future. You can see how these three dimensions reinforce each other as soon as the knot is cut and the energy and the ideas are unleashed. BASF, ladies and gentlemen, is fully committed to Hong Kong, and we believe in the attractiveness of the city as a place to do business in. And I personally believe in the transformational power of Hong Kong and its ability to tackle the challenges of the future. We definitely at BASF help creating chemistry to support Hong Kong in keeping its leading edge. Thank you very much.